It is probably one of the most popular wheels out there, even after it has been discontinued. The Logitech Driving Force GT still, to this day, has a following with many users standing by it. In many streams and videos, multiple users have requested some sort of feedback about this wheel, as in the second-hand market, these wheels can be found at a really good price. Though lately, due to its popularity, some have been gouging up the prices up to levels of Trustmasters T80s and T150s. I never tried one of these before, so I couldn't really give an informed opinion about the Driving Force GT. It would be more or less second-hand opinions or information I got from other people. But fortunately, I got the opportunity to drive it for a few minutes by myself. So a big thank you to my friend CKNDFPV that brought it over to try it with a couple of sims. You can check his channel at the end, there will be a link there. As mentioned, this is a discontinued product, so finding boxes of new Driving Force GTs will be fairly hard, but they are really plentiful on the second-hand market. My friend bought it new for £40 some 5 years ago to play Gran Turismo 5. At the time, I had myself a Logitech G25. Nowadays, prices, they go from £25 to £100 depending on condition and depending on people that are gouging the price or not. Once again, this is a really popular piece on second-hand market, but generally you can find them between £40 and £80. Initially, the Driving Force GT wasn't built as a wheel for the PC, it was made for the PlayStation 2, later on to the PlayStation 3. Still, even after being discontinued, there are software updates to this wheel, so I would recommend that you download the newest update for Windows. There is even a Windows 10 64-bit software for this wheel. It works out of the box, but if you connect it to the PC without the drivers and without the software necessary to run it, you'll only have about 200 degrees of wheel rotation. So download the software and install it on your PC. Going to the wheel itself, it's all plastic 11-inch wheel with a comfortable rubber grip in a sturdy package. The layout is very familiar, and maybe this was the wheel that popularized the current layout for many modern wheels. So you see the D-pad and you see the 4 buttons on the right side. So if you look into a Trustmaster and then you look into this one, into this Driving Force GT, you know there are many similarities to it. There are also plenty of assignable buttons, 14 in total, and a specialized knob and button combo for Gran Turismo games. On the right side, there's also a sequential shifter knob connected to the base, so there's a choice between the button shifters and the shifter knob. The shifter knob also gives you 2 extra assignable buttons. This wheel will be secured to a surface through a clamp system, and there are a couple of plastic squares or boosters to help clamping in a thin table. I didn't see any place to hard mount or holes to hard mount this to any surface, so I guess you can only use the clamp. I used the clamp in my table, and it was more than enough to keep it from sliding around. The pedal set is all plastic with different pedal resistance for each pedal. The braking pedal will be slightly more resistant. They are very lightweight, but more about these later. So overall here you have a full starting package. Of course you don't have the H shifter, you don't have the clutch, but it is a starting package and there will be nothing you're gonna miss to start doing a few laps by yourself. Driving it gave me a throwback to my G25 days. There's a lot of steering whine, making this wheel, just like the older brother, very noisy wheels. Also, there is a very distinct gear sensation as every particular gear and cog is felt in the movement of the wheel. The force feedback on this wheel is actually pretty good with the sims I had time to try, so I tried Assetto Corsa and Project Cars too. In Assetto Corsa, the loss of grip was very apparent and informative. It gave me all the relevant information in what the car is doing. Project Cars, though, had a more mute feeling to it. It still provided relevant information, and I didn't use any force feedback files. It maybe gets better. Generally, the force feedback felt more than adequate, showing understeer or oversteer with the correct dynamics. Though something needs to be said about the force rather than the feedback. The force, as it is applied directly to the steering wheel, makes the dampening very tight to such an extent when you turn it, it kind of seems slow. The other downsides are the paddle shifters on the wheel. They seem more like paddle buttons and can be difficult to reach. Maybe some DIY can help, extend those paddles a little bit more. The weakest link of the package are really the pedals. They are extremely light, they are flimsy, and the brake pedal offers no resistance. To see how hard it could be with such a light pedal set, I've tried the Clio Cup at Knockhill International, one of my favorite combos, and this combo also requires precise brake inputs. There wasn't a corner that I didn't lock the tires. Fortunately, there are brake pedal mod ideas for this set, and they will vastly improve your experience. The pedal set having such a light resistance also means it's easier to stay in place. You don't need to, put your foot down really. I had no problems with it slipping either in the carpet or in the wooden floor I have in my house. Maybe a more polished stone or tiles might be an issue, but for myself, for the experience I was having in Assetto Corsa and at Project Cars 2, it was great. In conclusion, for such an inexpensive wheel, the Driving Force GT is a high quality offer. Even with these pedals considered in the mix, it ticks all the necessary boxes for you to start. It has good force feedback, it has excellent feel, good quality build, and a better than most pedal set for the price point. It's a sturdy piece of equipment that offers a good experience and excellent value. If you're tight on budget and you found a good deal, this is a wheel you should get.